Right, so it's all masked off and we've decided to paint it black. So I'm going to start today by painting this black. I wanted to leave it natural, Holly wanted to paint it black. Naturally, I've been roped into painting it, even though I didn't want to paint it. So let's start with coating in. Hi guys, and welcome back to another instalment of how to do DIY wrong. So as you've just heard there, I didn't really want to paint the back wall. I wanted to leave it au natural because obviously that's very in at the moment. But Holly decided that with us having white frames, she wanted to paint the back wall black so that it had a bit of contrast. So we disagreed, I lost, as I always do, and lo and behold, I ended up having to paint it as well. So I'm just cutting in around the edges now, and you'll notice that on the right hand side we've still got like a little bit left over from one of the bits of racking. I didn't take that bit out because it's welded to the ceiling, so it's acting like a nice little bit of structural support. So I've gone through, I've painted that, and then I've gone all around the edges before we start doing the main coat of paint. I've also masked off around the floor and around the sides of the walls. I haven't bothered masking the ceiling because I'm not really going to get close enough. So next it was time to put the main coat of paint on the wall. Don't know about anybody else, but I absolutely hate painting. Hate it with an absolute passion. Especially when you're painting something a light colour to a dark colour or a dark colour to a light colour and you know that you're going to need about 14 coats. Anyway, got the first coat on here of the black paint. It's I think it's a satin wood that we've gone for. So it's got a little bit of a sheen but not too much. I haven't gone too thick on the first coat, I've just got a first coat on just so that we can see what it looks like, but as you can see there from the images, it's not going on too thick and it's going on really patchy because we're painting into OSB. The next thing I'm going to do is get the small roller out and just go around all the edges where the boards join and just see if we can try and coat it as much as we can. I'm absolutely sweating my knackers off at this stage. Right, so it's day 2, it's nice and dry, so I'm going to give it a second coat. So just like the first segment, I've started by going around the edges and also giving a second coat to that metal bar on the right hand side. Once I've done the edges, I'm going to go around again and paint the full board. I don't know if you can see in the top centre of your screen, I come in on day 2 to paint and the paint had actually caused a little bit of the wood to lift. So that's great, isn't it? So anyway, I managed to get in there with the little roller. I've blathered it with paint so you can see it's pretty much covered it now. I'm going to get the borders done and then just get straight on to the main segment. Where's your roller gone, Adam? Why are you using your hands? Why haven't you got your big stick? Why are you getting down on your knees in a minute? Oh, do you know, if I had £1 for everything that I lost, I would be an absolute billionaire right now. So yeah, I lost my pole, unfortunately, so I'm having to paint all of this with just my roller. And yeah, my knees hurt, my back hurt, and yeah, let's get it done. Right, that's the second coat done, so we're going to leave that to dry. See what it looks like when we come back. So I've come in on day 3 and I'm actually satisfied with how the paint's dried, so I'm not going to bother giving it another coat. So the next thing to do before we start doing anything else is get rid of this blue masking tape. So I'm going to get all that peeled off now. First one going in. So yeah, like I just said, the first cage is going in. These are fastened in by some clips on the rear of the frame that screws them straight to the wall. They've got 2 on either side on the back, and then we've also got 2 saddle clips that go across the bottom of the floor as well. So, because we're stacking 2 on top of each other, in between the top drawer and the bottom drawer there's a gap of about that much. What we don't want is all the stock in this drawer flying out everywhere, so we've got these lids, and what they do, they just slot them there, and then the next one goes on top. And all that'll do is it'll just stop everything flying upwards. So just before I do all the bottom ones, I'm just going to try a top one just to make sure that I didn't fudge my measurements up, because when I measured it, we're pretty much bang on to the millimetre. So, oh, it fits. It fits. Oh, it fits. Oh, it fits lovely. Very good. If you look, we've just got about 3 millimetres, maybe 5 millimetres between the top of the frame. So I'd say that was measured well. Happy with that. So now that we're happy that everything fits, Health and Safety is going to go mad again because I'm getting a little Dalek, and we're going to look at screwing in the top frame as well, just to make sure that everything fastens and connects and is solid once it's all secured. Right, so first of all, I'm going to show you what we're using in the trailer, and it's these. So I'll just take the camera around so I can show you. So as you can see, these are white racks with sliding drawers in. So you can see that they're stacked 2 tall and they come across. So you can see here, there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's 3 on top. In the trailer, we're going to have 7 across, 7 above. And the idea behind it is that we keep all of our stock in the drawers that we'll be taking to the shows. So you can see there's various things: Chaser grill kits, RGB halos, HID kits, etc. And this is our on-hand, ready-to-go stock. So as you can see, there's the packing desk. You can see there's loads of other little bits as well, but there's the packing desk. And this is the on-hand stock. This, and then these racks behind. Okay, all the rest of the stock is over on the big racking. The idea between these is we're going to have the frames in the trailer, the frames here. When it comes to show day, these pull out and lift out. We'll be able to take these from where they are now into the trailer, take them to the show, trade, come back, put them back where they belong. Now, the reason why I'm doing it that way is, 1, financial reasons. We used to have normal stock, show stock. That means that if we was to keep, say, 100 carbon gear knobs in stock at any given time, I'd have to have 100 here, and then however many we're going to take to the show, maybe 30 or 50. That causes cash flow issues. The other thing as well is if you leave stock in the trailer and the trailer gets broken into, insurance won't cover it and we're out of pocket. So this is going to be a lot better. It means that we can only have 1 lot of stock. We can keep on top of stock take a lot better. And not to mention, on a Monday, normally the worst day after a show is the Monday morning, because you get home and you've got all the stuff to put away and it's just tedious. Whereas with these here, we'll literally be slotting the drawers back where they go, take about 15 minutes. So that's the idea behind what we're doing. These are John Axle and they're from IKEA. They're not overly expensive. It works out about 50 or 60 quid a stack. So yeah, let's go ahead and get some built. So as I've just mentioned, I need to get these built, and I've got 14 to build. Now, they only hammer together with a rubber mallet. You've got a left side, a right side, and then you've got 4 metal pieces that join them together. I'll be honest, the pain in the bum bit is actually getting them out of the wrappers, taking all the cable ties off, dealing with all the rubbish, etc, etc, etc. But me and my lovely little accomplice Fudge, sat there with his ears blowing in the wind so elegantly, are going to look at getting through all 14 of these. Right, I think we've seen enough of this now. Moving on to the next bit. So now that they're all built up, I'm going to look at getting them in the frame, getting all the clips on the back of them, and then getting them where they need to go and screwing them to the wall. I'm not going to lie, putting the clips on these frames absolutely kills your hands, so I wouldn't recommend it, not in this scale anyway. If you're going to do a couple of them at home, then fair enough, but when you're doing this many, Jesus Christ, get some paracetamol ready. So to save you some pain, I skipped till I got to the end of the row. So this is the last one on the bottom. I'm just now fastening the rears to the wall, and then I'll come back and fasten the floor as well. We may look at putting some additional clips in, but as you can see, I've done the back ones, I've done the floor ones. And I hope you're all loving my Hogwarts t-shirt, because let's face it, it's absolutely banging. So that is all the bottom frames in. I can't do the top ones today because unfortunately when I picked these up, IKEA only had one of them in stock. So I'm going to go and order the rest, get the rest picked up, get the lids on, and then we'll second tier it all the way across. But for now, that's job done for today. Morning! So yesterday we got the racking in on the base. I said to you I couldn't go any further until I'd had these. I'm picking these up at 2 o'clock today. So once I've got these, I can go all the way across, then I can get them done. So I'm going to make sure that these are all built, ready for when I go and pick them up. So what I thought I'd do now, while I was waiting, because we've got a show on Sunday and it's Thursday today, is I'm going to change this socket here. That's all rotten and disgusting, and I don't even know if it's safe. And I'm also going to change these sockets here, because again, they're all rotten and I don't know if they're safe. So I've got 3 brand new sockets, and I'm going to get on with them now. Hi. So even though we're not plugged in, as a precaution, I am just going to flick everything off. Because you never know if there's any residual power. There's probably nothing because it's just a trailer, there's no battery storage or anything, but I've turned everything to off just to make sure that I don't kill myself. So once again, full disclosure, I am not an electrician. So I've got my rubber gloves on, I've got my flathead screwdriver, and I'm about to change these sockets. Because if you look at them, they're all rusty, they're all minging, they're all corroded. What's interesting is on the other side of the trailer, they all look brand new. On this side of the trailer, they're all disgusting, all 3 of them. So I'm going to start by taking the screws out of the front, which you've just seen. I'm going to take the face plates off. I'm going to look at getting the wires out of the face of the socket, get the sockets off the wall, and then get them changed over. So even though I've done this 1,000 times, you never know if somebody's wired something up wrong. So I always like to make a note of where each wire is so that when I'm putting it back, it goes back exactly the same. So we've got brown, live, blue, neutral, yellow, earth. I know that might sound silly, and you've probably got an electrician watching this video going, what is that toilet doing? But just in my experience, it's always better to make a note of what was there before so that when you're putting it back, it goes back exactly the same. This plug is so rotten. Right, so this one here is so rotten. I don't know if you saw when I was doing that, I had to snap the screw off because that's all rounded off. But these here have all rusted. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut them. Now this is why you need to make sure that your electric's off. Obviously you're touching them. But the last thing you're gonna be doing is cutting through a live wire. And for me, I'm glad that I decided to change these now, because with how rotten they are, I wouldn't have liked to have been in this trailer while they were running. Look at the state of that. It's all rusted. It's all rotten in there. Absolutely minging. So the next step is to get the rear part off of the wall, and these are literally just screwed to the wall with posi drive screwdrivers. So I'm just going to take my handy little electric screwdriver and just get these whipped off the wall. That's what we were working with. Luckily, they're only small, so I managed to use a pry bar and rip them out. Some serious mingingness going on there though in that socket, isn't there? Right, let's see if we can still use these holes over there, Goose. No, they are loosed. So, try and go a bit above it, I think. So I wanted to use the existing holes on the trailer to fit the new sockets. I didn't really want to be drilling new holes, but unfortunately they were just spinning, so I've decided to drill brand new holes for the sockets just to make sure that they're held in securely once on. So next we're going to get the wires back into the feeds. I've already smacked out the holes on the bottom of the cages, and we're just going to make sure that the holes and all the wires and everything goes back where it belongs, and then we're going to fasten them all back together just to make sure that everything stays where it should do. Right, so get my little trusty piece of paper, and as I mentioned, these are in different places than where they were, so now that I've got my little note, I know what goes where. So I know that live is brown, and I know that live's always brown, but again, I've come across some lovely things on this trailer that have been questionable. So, you know, having wiring the wrong way around wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. So live brown. Tug, nothing. Neutral blue. Blue, blue, blue. And earth, green. Green and yellow. So the earth's actually at the other side on this one, so we're going to have a little bit of excess cable, but you know, it should be alright as long as nothing's exposed. just want to make sure that all of them are tight, okay? Now, because this trailer is travelling, it's going to be bouncing around a lot, especially this because we're on the back of the trailer now. So this bum is going to be swinging about and bouncing around. So I'm just making sure that everything is fully tight. Once you're happy that it's all tight, get this fastened back in. I always do a few turns on one side and then get my other side in, and then make sure you fasten it up tight. I just want to reiterate, I am not an electrician. Same as I'm not a joiner, I'm not an electrician. So don't be taking this as gospel guidance, but I do know how to change a socket. So that's one done. I'm gonna rush through the second one. Now you'll remember I had to cut the brown and the blue on this one. Don't know if you can see that there. I had to cut the brown and the blue. So I'm just gonna go and get some wire strippers just to strip these back a little bit. So I'm just gonna strip these back about 8 to 10 mil, depending on your socket. If you've got nice deep enough holes. So, twist them back. So I strip them back. Just give them a bit of a twist. Just so that they don't fray and all the frays go everywhere. And then on to the next one. And what I always say as well, when you buy a new socket, the screws always come fastened. Don't be pissing them out like this. Just undo them before you start it. It's a lot easier. Get yourself a nice long screwdriver. These are really good. It's a nice long screwdriver. So you're not getting into tight spots. And the thing with flatheads is we all know how hard a flathead is to work. If you get a nice long one like this, I don't know why, even though it's still a flathead and it doesn't really change the end, it just seems to make it a lot easier to work on. So, back to my sheet. Blue, live. I'm going to do neutral first because it's at the far end. So, brown. Oh no, brown's live. Blue, neutral. See, there you go, you see. This is why you need your little handy sheet. Because unless you work with this stuff every single day, how can you be expected to know? So, blue to neutral. Is it just me that thinks that it's weird that brown is live? I'm sure it used to be red and black. Why is it brown? For me, brown is earth because it's brown. Can some electrician tell me why they've changed it so that brown is now live? Because that doesn't make sense to me. We're going to go brown to live. Now, I just sort of feel like brown is the colour of dirt or earth. So, why is brown live? If anything, shouldn't the green and yellow one be live? Because green and yellow is sort of colours that you'd associate with electric, isn't it? There you go, you see. So brown and blue done, and then green into earth. Again, just making sure that you're pushing them all the way in. The last thing you want is any of them threads sticking out. Again, nasty shock if you touch it. So again, making sure they're nice and tight. I'm probably doing them tighter than what they need to be, but I mentioned why earlier. Tug test. Happy with that? Get it banged in. Get me screws. Right, so those two have been swapped. Everything's tight and secure and fastened. I'll show you how to test them in just a minute. I'm just going to go and do this minging one on the floor here. So, back in a jiff. And just like that, that one's changed and them two are changed. So I'm going to go around and test them now and then we can get them labelled. Right, so we're testing. And now what you do is you plug one of these into your socket, turn all your isolators back on, and the idea is that you turn your plug on and then these three lights will light up. If all three light up, it's good, and if only a few of them do, it tells you there what the problem is. So, as you can see, that one's good. Now I know that on a double socket, you only have to test one, but I like to do it just to make sure that the socket isn't faulty on both. So that is one that we haven't changed, that's the one that was already on here. So let's go and check one that we have changed. Make sure that we don't die. No power. That's good, isn't it? So there's nothing to that one. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. And that one's fine. So there's nothing coming to that one at all, nothing lit up, which looking at that, no turn, live fault. So I'm going to take it back out, check the live, and if the live's okay, I'm going to check the board and make sure that it hasn't tripped. Bear with. Okay, so I found out why it doesn't work. I've gone under the trailer, see that wire there that comes out from the floor? That's the power. You follow it all the way around, and you see it just goes through there, and then it's being cut there. So that's why we've got no power to that socket. So I think I'm actually just going to take it out and fill the hole in, because you can see the other one as well has been cut. So massive waste of time. I think I'm just going to chop that and get it out. Okay, so that's now gone. I'm just going to give it a clean and then put some more expanding foam down it, because we don't want to be seeing any holes or getting any moisture into it. The worktops have arrived. Let's crack on. Bop, 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 bop. So now we've got all the lids on the bottom frames, I can start chucking all the top frames in. So I got all them built up off camera because, you know, you've already seen that. And now we're going to start banging all the top frames on. You'll notice that what I've just done there is drilled a hole between the frames, and we're going to nut and bolt the top and the bottom frames together as well, just to give a little bit of extra strength. And just to your left hand side, you've just seen Holly come to say, I'm going now because it's my home time. And in doing so, she starts the car. The car's connected to my phone, and unfortunately when she starts the car, the camera cuts out. So yeah, hope you enjoy not watching me do the rest. You know, this took me about 2 hours, and you're going to miss all of it. So sorry about that, guys. But yeah, as you've just seen, I've screwed in all the back of the frames to the wall, and we're just going to go down and do them one by one. I'm frustrated. I filmed myself putting all these in for you, and you'll see on the last clip there's a section where Holly gets in the Audi and goes, and in starting the Audi it connected to my phone and it stopped the video. So they are all in, every single one of them is in. So I'm really sorry that I didn't capture it, but you know, technology for you. So we've now reached the point where all of the racking is in. Okay, so I've done all the racking. It's all fastened to the walls. It's absolutely solid. They've been nut and bolted together for a little bit of downward force, security, stiffening, whatever you want to call them. The till point is in as well. As you can see, it's basically the same sort of setup. That's been fastened in and is solid. The electrical sockets are done. The one that I had to fill the hole earlier is done. I'm just waiting for that to go off so that I can cut the excess off. And then the next thing that I've got to do is get this tape off the floor and then basically give it a good clean before we load it. So that will be the next thing that I do. I'm going to get rid of all this rubbish here, all this rubbish, get the tape off the floor, give it a clean, and then we'll start loading the baskets, ready for the show.